Hey, welcome back, my friends. My name is Danny Dumas, and this is the Earn Your Title podcast. We are talking about getting healthy, getting strong, moving well, setting goals. Today's the second episode, and we're going to be talking about getting strong. I really like the two parts of this. I like the goal setting, which we talked about last week. I like mindset. I really enjoy James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I like getting into like the nitty gritty of like, how do I make my life better? How do I optimize my life? If I had to make a close second, it would be getting strong. I really enjoy lifting weights. It's something that I look forward to doing. It is my favorite part of the health, the triangle between getting strong, moving well, and eating well. This is the base for me. And while I don't think you can't say it's the most important, because I think to be healthy, you need to eat well, move well, and be strong. I do think that a base of strength is an extremely important asset to have in your life. Now, just like anything, you can go to extremes. And I do think you can I don't want to say you can be too strong. I think you can overtrain strength. I think that's a thing. Now, I'm not there. I think I've been there probably a few times in my life where I was really focused on getting strong and I kind of neglected some of the other sides. But ultimately, I want you to be strong because I think it's important. So I'm going to talk about the program that kind of got me on the journey of strength, the resources that I think you should use to determine what is the right way to get strong, and then what I'm doing right now and how I'm experimenting with being strong, staying strong as I age, because that definitely does change. The things I was doing in my 20s and 30s are not the things I'm doing today. So to start with, I think it's important to determine, how do you know if you're strong enough? And I think there's two metrics that I like. One is relative strength. How strong am I relationship to my body weight? And I am a big fan of the barbell lifts. I think they are safe. It's easy to progress on those to determine, this week I lifted this much and that week I lifted that much. And it's the same. I can go to the barbell in my gym at work. I can go to the barbell in my gym or my basement gym here at my house. I can go to a Planet Fitness. Take that back. They don't have barbells at Planet Fitness, but you know what I mean. And the first would be to set a standard. I think a man should be able to overhead press 0.75 his body weight, 3/4 of his body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to multiply that by 0.75. That's the amount of weight that you should be able to press over your head. I think you should be able to bench press your body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, bench press 200 pounds. I think you should be able to back squat 1.5 your body weight. And I think you should be able to deadlift double your body weight. And I say that, I think you should get there at some point in your life. You should be that strong. Like, I currently can't deadlift twice my body weight. I'm looking at like 420. I can't get there, but I've had that amount of strength. And that's really what I'm talking about, is building up a level of strength, and then you can fluctuate near that level. I think that's an important level to get to, where you've been strong, your body knows how to do the movements, you've worked your way up to that slowly and safely, and you've been a strong person. As you get older, I think it's appropriate to scale that back into not, you're not pushing as hard as you could, because the danger of weightlifting is you can get hurt, and you can get hurt pretty bad, and it can change your life forever. But I think the benefits of getting strong are worth the dangers of getting hurt. You just have to do it in the right mindset. You have to do it with a program. And so that's the first metric. If you can do those things, I would say you're relatively strong. Now, I want you to be absolutely strong. And so what does that look like? And then again, these numbers, depending how much you weigh, this actually could be less. But I like the idea of the 4-plate club. One plate, which is 45 pounds on each side, that's 135 pounds. I think you should overhead press one plate or 2 plates on either side. I think you should be able to bench press 225. That's 2 plates. I think you should be able to back squat 315. That's 3 plates. And I think you should be able to deadlift 405, 4 plates. That is in general, which means one of you, if you weigh 150 pounds, that's going to be challenging, right? It's a lot more than the body weight, but it gets you to a level of strength. That's something you could shoot for. It's a goal you could shoot for. It should take a while. If you're a marathon runner and you've never lifted a day in your life, this might take a year or 2 years to get to that point. But I do think it's important, because a strong man is a useful man, and I want you to be useful. So how do you do that? And how did I do that? I was a basketball player in high school, and so I had the athletic build, but it was on the skinnier side, more cardio, less weights. And as I became a fireman, it was funny. I weighed 155 pounds. And in the fire service, you're on probation, usually for a year. And so I was getting off probation, and I got called into the office. Hey, Dumas, you're off probation. Congratulations. You did a good job. And they said, the only thing you think you really need to work on is just you're too small. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm too small. Like, yeah, you don't weigh enough. You should weigh more. And it was fun. I was like, oh, all right, I will attempt to get bigger. And thankfully in the fire service, gaining weight is not hard to do because we eat really well. And over the course of the next 10 years, I got up into the 200 pounds. I'm going to talk about a guy named Mark Ripito. He is a strength and conditioning coach. He wrote this great book called Starting Strength. And he says a man weighs 200 pounds. Now, I think he's being kind of funny with that, but the bigger you are, the easier it is to lift heavy weight. So I started on this journey of getting stronger. And the book Starting Strength is the book that I would recommend that you read to understand how to lift. He goes over the mechanics. The diagrams are excellent. And now most of you probably can't learn from watching or reading a book. So I would also encourage you to watch people lift. The Mark Ripito series, he is really good on the mechanic side. But I actually would suggest a different program. There's another one called Strong Lifts. It's a 5x5 program. And the way this works, it's super easy. If it's been more than 2 or 3 years since you've been lifting consistently, or if you've never lifted, I would start at the beginning of this program. And the way it works is you take the barbell, which is 45 pounds, and you're going to start with that amount of weight, which means your initial workouts are going to be really fast. You're going to knock these out in 5, 10, 15 minutes. What you're going to do is you're going to put the barbell on your back, and as safely as possible, you're going to do 5 sets of 5. So you're going to do 5 sets of 5 squats. So what is 5 sets of 5? You're going to squat up and down 5 times, and you're going to do that 5 times for a total of 25 lifts. And it's just the barbell, 45 pounds on your back. Then you're going to bench press, 5 sets of 5. And then you're going to row, 5 sets of 5, meaning you're bent over row. And again, and it seems silly because you're just using the bar, and the bar is not going to be heavy, and it's okay. There's a method. The next day, you're going to back squat, bars on your back, 5 sets of 5. But this time, you're adding 5 pounds, just 5 pounds. You're putting 5 pounds on the barbell. So now you're lifting 50 pounds. You're going to overhead press 45 pounds, right? Because you haven't done this one yet. And then you're going to deadlift. We're going to start deadlifting at 95 pounds just because you need plates on the bar to get the right distance. So you're not taking the bar all the way down to the ground. So you're deadlifting 95 pounds. That's 25 on each side, gives you 95 pounds. That's the entire program, those 2 lifts. Now, obviously, when you're starting and you don't want to go to the gym and just you're going to do 15 minutes, and you're like, well, what else do I do? Run on the treadmill, stretch, do some curl, do some pull-ups. You can do other things. But the point of this program and the point of lifting weights in general, and the reason why I really like it, is it's progressive. You're going to start with a certain amount of weight, and then every week you're going to add weight. So the third time you do the back squat, now you're at 55 pounds. So you put 5 pounds on either side. Then you go 60, and you keep going up. And on all your lifts, you're going up 5 pounds. On the deadlift, I failed to mention, the deadlift, you're doing 1 set of 5 after you've warmed up. So you're going to warm up, work up to the weight that you're at. And when you're starting, you won't need to warm up because it's really light. And you're going to do 1 set of 5, just 1 set of 5. And you're going to go up by 10 pounds. The deadlift is going to be your strongest lift. If you had to ask a human to lift 1,000 pounds, they would do it by deadlifting. So that's your strongest lift. He goes up by 10. That's your B workout. You're going to go up. You're going to continue to add 5 pounds until you can't do 5 sets of 5. And I think the magic of the 5 sets of 5 is that it's not the reps are not too high where you're going to be failing all the time, trying to get to 10 or 12 or 20. And 25 reps is a doable, manageable goal where I think if you can start light, it prevents you from getting hurt. And this is what I really need you to hear. I know this is lightweight to start, especially if you've lifted at all in your life ever, Like, I'm just going to jump up. Please don't jump up. What you're doing is you're spending 2, 3, 4 weeks learning good form. Poor form is why people would say weightlifting is dangerous. Poor form is why, orthopedic surgeons say you shouldn't squat. Well, your knee is designed to bend. In your knee, I'm going to blow your mind. Your knee is designed to go over your toes, but it has to be under strength and control. And when you start at 45 pounds and work your way up, you have strength and you're under control. And so you're going to keep going up, 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 up. And it's super exciting. It's just so rewarding to every day you get in the gym and you get 5 more pounds. That is the best lift you've ever done today. And then tomorrow you can do it again. Now, what will happen is you shouldn't be working out every day, but this I would recommend every other day. Well, sometimes you're taking weekends off, but if you did the A workout, tomorrow, the next day you work out, do the B workout, have a day of rest in between. It's important. But at some point you're going to miss. You're going to do 4 sets of 5, and the last set you're going to get to 4. No big deal. Just don't go up that day. You're not going to increase on that day. So when you get back to the A workout, if you missed your squat, you just redo the same weight. But if you miss again, so let's say you got up to 225, or you get to 225, you miss once, no big deal. Next day you do 225 again, you miss again. When you miss again, you drop it down by 10%. So you're going to take it down to 220 pounds, 22 pounds. Drop it down, so you're back down to 205, and now you're working your way 5 by 5 back up to that weight, 225, and then your body should adapt. And this is what you're doing when you're working out. Your body is overloading your muscles, and then you have to have adaptation. And the adaptation is the magic of muscle building. It's the magic of getting stronger. And there's 2 ways that you adapt. One is that you're actually the neurons that fire to make your muscles work actually get better at doing that. They collect together. They get more lined up. They're more in order. When you ask your body to do something, it's easier for the neurons to make it happen. Some of it is you're shutting off neurons that shouldn't be firing, and you're just making it more efficient. So some of this is neurological. It's literally your brain sends a signal, and that signal goes faster and it goes better and it recruits more muscle to make this work. The other way is your muscle physically gets larger and more numerous, they get larger and better at doing that. So you have to have adaptation. Now, there is a really cool thing in medicine we call the minimal effective dose. If you overstimulate your muscles to the point where they have to have adaptation, which means they change, that's all you have to do. Anything outside that, or when you do more than that, could be too much. And in order to have adaptation, you have to have rest in between the muscle overstimulus. So you're going to stimulate your muscles. They're going to get broken down, micro tears. Then you have to have rest. That's why I don't recommend every day. If you're working out 3 days a week, doing something non-muscle related, non-strength related in between, and taking the weekends off, you're going to be much further ahead than if you're trying to lift weights every single day. We just can't adapt. Now, you can have a more complex program where you're hitting certain muscles this day and certain muscles this day so that you give the other muscles a chance to recover, but you're not a professional athlete, I'm guessing. And if you are, you don't need my help here on this podcast. You're the average guy that wants to get strong, so you need to rest. And you need to sleep. 2 different things. So not working out, not lifting, I shouldn't say not working out, not using those muscles to work out is going to be important. And getting some good quality sleep is super important. Now, I'm not talking about today, but diet is going to be the third leg of the triangle that we talk about in a couple weeks. But just to hit this one, your muscles are made out of protein. When you start lifting weights, you are going to need to eat more protein if you want to get physically bigger and stronger. There's just no way around it. This is what has to happen in order for your muscles to grow. They need the building blocks, so you're going to need protein, but I'll have a whole episode talking about food. But that's the simplest program that I would recommend to you to get stronger. This is not a bodybuilding split where you're like, I'm doing upper, lower, push, pull. It is these 5 lifts are going to hit every major muscle group in your body. Deadlifting works your core, squatting works your core. It's an amazing workout. And I would suggest you do this workout for as long as you can until you start consistently missing. And then when you get to the point where you just can't put 5 pounds on the bar and you're constantly dropping back down, then you adapt. There's lots of other programs out there, the Texas method, the West Side method. There's all these different ways of changing the adaptation where you go hard one day and light one day and more reps, less reps. And I don't want to get into that. The book I recommend is Starting Strength has his own program in there. The 5x5 method, there is a app, and I'll link it in the show notes. It's really easy to use. It automatically adds the weight. It automatically deloads the weight when you've missed 2 days in a row. Excellent. And I will post that, and it's something you should do. Now, what I'm currently not doing that. I'm actually experimenting with just doing 3 sets of up to 10. I feel like I have gotten to the point where I have a relative good base of strength. I'm older now, and I don't want to get hurt, and I'm not trying to max out my 1 round max. And when you talk about lifting, lots of people are referencing their 1 round max, meaning what's the most amount of weight I can do in 1 round. And when I talk about the relative body weight protocol, that is your 1 rep max for how much you weigh. And the 4 plate club, you're getting your 1 rep max. You're warming up and you're trying to see how hard you can go for 1 round. I'm not currently doing that. I'm 46 years old, and I'm trying to maintain and slightly improve it. So what I'm doing is I am warming up to the weight that I want to be at, and the weight that I'm at is what I can do for 10 rounds or 10 reps for 2 sets. And if I can get to 10 in the 2 sets each time, then I'm adding weight. And let's say I'm currently doing bench press and I'm at 225, and I can do 8 on my first set, and then I can do 7 reps on my second set. I'm not moving up until I can get to 10. So my adaptation is I'm adding more reps, not more weight. And because I'm picking that higher rep total of 10, I'm using a lighter weight, which prevents me from getting injured. It's just something I'm experimenting with because I like this kind of stuff. So it's just 2 sets. And my goal is to do the least amount of work to get adaptation, meaning get change. And I'm resting. I'm just doing it twice a week. And I am doing the same lifts that I'm telling you in the 5x5. I'm doing all those lifts and just doing 2 sets of 10. And if I get to 10, I add weight, and then I keep going up. If I'm doing 10, then I add 5. I get up to 10 reps. I just keep adding. And once I start missing, then I stay at that weight until I can get up to 10 again and move on. And that's what I like about the weightlifting, that it's experimental. And I will say that the simple lifts, the 5x5 program, can get boring. And boring works. I understand you don't want to do that, and I would encourage you that on the off days, go do some crazy, high intensity, whatever you want to do. That's the time to do it. But if you want to get strong happens from simple lifts on a consistent basis that's programmed. It's not random, and you keep going up in weight. If you will do that, if you will be strong. If you start with 45 pounds on the bar and you get some good, either watching videos, reading about it, or if you could afford it to get a coach to watch you lift, man, I know there are starting strength coaches. It's fairly expensive, but you record your workout, you send it in, and they critique your form. Super helpful. I'm sure that would be amazing. And if I could afford it, it is what I would do. It's the kind of coaching I would pay for. Simple barbell lifts done consistently with moderate progression is how you get strong. And a strong man is a useful man, and I want you to be useful. I want you to be around for a long time. I want you to be the old guy that is still out in his yard picking up sacks of concrete and moving things around and throwing logs, and that's the kind of guy I want you to be. And getting strong is so important. When you're younger, you want to look good, and that's cool. Man, go get the 6-pack abs. But there's something about old man strength where you can just do some work that is so useful. And in closing, wherever you're at, like at whatever age, you kind of have a different set of expectations. I want you to fast forward to the 80-year-old you, and you've been a successful person. You have a good relationship with your family. Things are good, but you failed to get strong. What I see in my job, I see old men who at one point in their life have done great things, and they failed to maintain strength, and they have shriveled up into a weak man that can't help themselves. And that feeling of sadness that I see when I have to go help an older gentleman get off the ground because he's lost the strength to stand on his own, it is so sad. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your dad. I don't want that for your son. And you don't need to maintain this bodybuilder physique to have the strength to get off the ground. You just have to be able to do it forever. Till the day you die, you should be doing something that is helping you either get stronger or maintain your strength. It is so important. I wish everyone could see a man having to call another man to help him off the ground. Now, I'm not faulting them, right? I get it. Life gets hard. You have a physical job and it's hard on your back, hard on your knees. And I work with a lot of guys that use the fact that we have a physical job to, I don't want to say an excuse, but to have a reason why I don't work out because my job's physical. Man, you need to be intentional on getting strong. You could have a very physical job that is breaking you down, which even more you need to have a job. You need to be doing things that are strengthening your weaknesses. If you're constantly pushing something, you should be pulling something and strengthening the opposite side so you're not tearing things and breaking things. Being strong allows you to have the independence to live the life you want to live for the rest of your life and not have to call 911 because you're stuck on the floor. Or even I will see it where someone's wife will fall on the floor and they have to call to help. I don't ever want to get to the point where I can't pick up every single member of my family. I do this today. I'll pick up all my family members, at least I should say my kids and my wife, just to make sure that I can. Like it's a point of pride. I can pick them all up. If I had to carry my fully grown 17-year-old son, throw him on my shoulder, I can do that. I don't know why I'd ever have to do that, but you never know. And I want to be able to do that. And I want you to be able to do that. Be strong. Go eat your protein. Go lift heavy weights. Leave me a review. I will talk to you later. My name is Danny Dumas. You have a great day. Bye.